So I wanted to record this video because yesterday I had a very pivotal moment, and I want to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable. Yesterday, my wife had just left. We had spent some time together, and a large part of our connection is spiritual, But in our time together before she went back to Houston, we didn't open up the Bible. We did not worship together. We didn't do those things, and I'm not saying this because I'm not saying this. I'm saying this because in a relationship, you should seek God individually as well as seeking God collectively. But each of us are going to have our different relationship with God. I'm saying this because it got to a point where the time that I spent with God was only the only time I spent with God would be time that was also spent with my wife and with God. And while that's great and all, I need to seek Him individually, and I need to be open and honest about my relationship with Him. And when she left yesterday, I was sitting in a silent house, and I know that sometimes that's probably the scariest thing that we can do as individuals, is to be in silence and be within our thoughts. That's scary, right? Because what do we do all day? We distract ourselves. It's getting to the point where we take our phone to the bathroom to doo-doo, to have bowel movements. We take our phone everywhere. We cannot do anything without our phone. We cannot do anything without our TV. I personally like to place certain things for it to help me go to sleep. Why is that? And maybe part of that is because I'm afraid to be within my thoughts. It's something that I'm willing to embrace, but I think that ultimately, when I was in the house by myself yesterday, I actually watched a video. That convicted me, and I shared it with my wife. The video really resonated with me, and I felt convicted because I know that I can do better, and I know that God is more deserving. He deserves more than what I'm giving Him right now. I sat here and binge watched TV shows. I watched several movies over the past few days, but at what point in time did I get on my knees and thank God? I barely wanted to even be. I barely wanted to get on my knees to thank Him when I woke up in the morning, which I'm always grateful. But I got to that point where within the video, I'm like, wow, like I'm extremely convicted. It's really pulling on my heartstrings because I know He deserves more, and I tell myself this all the time. But what are you doing as an individual to change your situation? Are you being intentional with your actions as well as your words? It's easy to get on here, or no matter what the situation is, it's easy to say, hey, I'm going to do better. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to be a better parent. I'm going to be a better child of God, whatever that may be. But what are the deliberate actions that you're putting in place to be a better version of yourself? What are you doing to show up for God? Because He shows up for us every day. Every single day He shows up for us, whether we thank Him or not, whether we give Him the praise and honor or not, whether we believe that our relationship is what it should be with Him or not. And for myself, I know that He deserves more. He deserves more than a lazy prayer. He deserves more than $10 tithe, So I pray for more moments like yesterday where I'm emotionally convicted, spiritually convicted. It resonates. It touches you to your core because that's God speaking to you. That's God letting you know that although you may be feeling like you're falling short, He's still going to be patient with you. He's still going to be graceful. He's still going to be understanding. That's the beautiful thing about the journey. God is love. God is love. Like, how else could you explain? We're taking breaks. We're taking years, weeks, months, years, doing what we want to do. We're sinning. We're coming back to God when we need Him. When you have that pregnancy scare, you want to pray to God. When you're facing jail time now, you want to pray to God. And He's been patient with us. He's been understanding. He's been patient. He has been judgmental, and He listens, right? And for anybody just like myself a few years ago, they always say, talk to God, talk to God, talk to God. And it's not always going to be a vision. God chooses certain people to have visions. God chooses certain people to have speak in tongues and be prophets and things like that. You don't have to compare your walk with Jesus or God with everybody else. Your walk with him is your walk with him. They may get here sooner, they may fall, they may depart from him. You may take 20 years to get there, but you may not depart from him after those 20 years because you sat still in those moments, you were learning, you embraced those challenges, so just try not to compare your walk with others. But I said all that to say that, just continuing to be graceful and patient with your journey and your walk is very important, because everybody gets there. Everybody's going to get to the finish line. Somebody's going to be first, somebody's going to be second. You might be 4,093, but at the end of the day, you're like my friend Tracy said, and I appreciate this quote so much. She said, her goals for the year were, she doesn't have to get to where she's wants to go. She just want to make sure she's heading in the right direction. And at the end of the day, as long as you're heading in the right direction, that's all that matters. So God sees our heart. He sees you. Continue to just keep doing the best you can, and continue to keep praying for clarity. Continue to keep praying that you have the strength to avoid certain situations. Don't pray after the fact. Be proactive. Don't be reactive. Pray to be to have strength to endure less, to conquer less, to conquer gluttony, conquer all these things. Don't wait until you feel a way or you've committed the sin. Just pray God give the strength, and then after that, you need to be deliberate with your intentions, right? You struggle with lust, that's gonna be an internal battle, and it's gonna continue. It's not gonna happen overnight, It's not gonna happen overnight. Do you put yourself in a position to fall to lust, right? Lust, you could lust without even realizing you're lusting, and also just understanding the difference between love and lust within relationships. I'm not gonna go into that, but just give God the honor and praise that he deserves. He deserves it every day. He deserves it for no reason, just because he woke you up this morning. Somebody did not wake up this morning. Somebody went to the store for groceries and they got in a car wreck and they passed. He kept you. He kept you so many times. All those messages, all those things that you ignored when you were younger, or you were less aware of God's power and his love, now he's opening your eyes. That same thing that you would have ignored when you were 21, when you have that same thing occur at 25, it's the same thing. It's God talking to you. He's using someone as a vessel. He's using a situation as a vessel. So when you feel convicted, follow that, and don't run away from it. I know change is scary. I know giving up those things that you love so much is scary. Weed, sex, fornication, adultery, whatever that may be, is scary because it makes you uncomfortable. But change is going to be uncomfortable. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I love y'all.